Good morning, TikTok. Good morning, Instagram.
Ang programang ito ay hatid sa inyo ng Equilibrium Probiotics. Ito ay ang bagong food supplement na gawa sa mga piling gulay at prutas at dumaan sa isang masusing proseso para mapangalagaan ang inyong kalusugan. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay dinisenyo para sa kalusugan ng ating tiyan, tulungan ng pagkuha ng sapat na nutrisyon at ang pagpapalabas sa ating sistema ng mga nakakasirang toxins. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may iba't ibang disenyo at sangkap base sa inyong pangangailangan. Mula sa boost para sa mga bata, fortitude, boost to brain, miracle fruit, periwinkle, at ang pinakabago, liver bone. Ang Equilibrium Probiotics ay may pagmamalaki na produktong gawa sa Thailand. Ito ay mabibili sa Dashen, Geta Road, San Sebastian, Phase 3, Pinaugana, Tarlac City. At para sa mga malalayong lugar, mabibili din ang produkto ng Equilibrium Probiotics sa Lazada. Ito ay eksklusibong gawa.
Good morning, Michelle.
Reyes Blu-ray. Ano pang hinihintay nyo, mga kasangga? Hala, bili na.
Magandang umaga po, mga kasangga. Nandito naman po ang ating MSB Kape at Balita sa Umaga, ang inyong daily dose of news na maghahatid po sa inyo ng mga may init at nagbabagang balita na nagaganap sa loob at labas ng ating bansa. Ngayon po ay araw ng Biyernes, July 28, 2023. Nasa dulo na naman po tayo ng linggo. At isang ano na lang po, tulog na lang. Pahinga na naman tayo, Sabado. Kalabas na po yung ating Typhoon Egay, Super Typhoon Egay. Hopefully, mas maganda na po yung magiging ulat ng panahon natin ngayong araw na to hanggang bukas. Good morning, Michelle Tayag. Thanks for joining me. Good morning, Ka Levi Ildefonso. Kumusta na lang po tayo sa mga kaibigan natin sa Ventimiglia. Magandang umaga po. At mga nanonood sa atin sa Instagram at TikTok, magandang umaga rin po sa kanila. Bago po natin simulan ng ating pagbabalita ngayong araw na to, samahan niyo po muna ako sa isang maikling panalangin. Sa ngalan ng Ama, ng Anak, Espiritu Santo. Amen. Mahal namin lumikha. Maraming salamat sa bagong araw na ipagpinagkaloob niyo sa amin. Sa mapayapang gabing lumipas at sa patuloy na pagbuhos ng iyong mga biyaya sa amin at sa aming bayan. Naway ipagkaloob mo pa sa amin ang lakas at tibay ng loob upang mapaglabanan ng kasamaan at manatili po kami sa paggawa ng mabuti sa kapwa at sa pagsunod sa inyong tinurong tamang landas. Lahat ng gawain namin, inaalay namin sa iyong anak na si Jesus, na aming Panginoon. Amen. Sa ngalan ng Ama at ng Anak, Espiritu Santo. Amen. MSB Kape at Balita sa Umaga. Hatid sa inyo ni Kuya Dong. And here is the summary of our top stories for today, July 28, 2023, Friday. Egay exits, leaves trail of death, destruction. UNESCO wants global ban on cell phones in schools. You are a truth teller. Taiwan defends largest airport against simulated Chinese attack. 23 dead, 6 missing as boat capsizes in Laguna Lake. Rescuers. AFP. Sulu now Abu Sayyaf free. 2 cops slain in Davao hacking, shooting incident. And finally in sports, blue girls fall short versus Italians. Good morning po, Ma'am Telma Abiliar. Thanks for watching. Our top story is brought to you by Equilibrium Probiotics. Please scan the QR code to get more details and information about the product. Egay exits, leaves trail of death, destruction. Report by Michael Punongbayan to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. Typhoon Egay left dozens dead as it battered northern Luzon this week before exiting on its way to Taiwan yesterday. Even as cyclone wind signals were lowered, up to 30 passengers aboard a small boat in Rizal drowned yesterday after they reportedly panicked and moved to one side of the vessel due to strong waves. In Bugyas, Benguet, a mother and her 3 children died Wednesday morning when a landslide hit her house. In Abra, a 13-year-old died while trying to rescue goats from drowning. 2 men in the province also died. A 38-year-old man died in a mudslide in Mountain Province, while a woman in Isabela was killed when hit by an uprooted coconut tree. In Baguio City, a 16-year-old boy was crushed in a landslide. 4 Philippine Coast Guard personnel went missing in Abulog, Cagayan, after the aluminum boat they were using for a rescue operation capsized. They were going to rescue 7 stranded crew members of tugboat Iroquois, located 21 miles from Mapari, when their boat capsized while traversing the Cagayan Valley, the Cagayan River. Egay or Doksuri has affected an estimated 89,639 families or 328,356 individuals. Around 5,950 families or 19,826 individuals are staying in 306 evacuation centers across the country, according to the National Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Council. The NDRRMC added that the government has provided more than 10.2 million peso in assistance to displaced and affected residents in various provinces. Egay caused at least 16 landslide incidents, 108 flooded areas, 5 soil erosion incidents, and 4 fallen tree incidents, according to an emergency meeting presided by Defense Secretary Gilbert Teodoro on December 26. President Marcos, who is on a 3-day official visit in Malaysia since Tuesday, said he is constantly in touch with officials in disaster relief operations. I think the typhoon has left. Rescue is ongoing, as there were people stranded because of the flooding. Rescue and then eventually relief. We will do it immediately, Marcos said at a press conference in Kuala Lumpur. Good morning, Grace. Thanks for joining me. Ilocos Norte. Ilocos Norte, under signal number 3, was declared in a state of calamity on Wednesday by the provincial board. Ilocos Norte Police Director Colonel Julio Suriben told the Star that around 700 families were evacuated after the province experienced flooding and strong winds. Suriben said the town of Adams has been isolated due to landslides that block its main roads. The Subic Bay Metropolitan Authority, the Office of Civil Defense Region 1, and La Union Governor Rafael Ortega David also sent teams to Ilocos Norte to help in rescue operations. Pampanga. At least 3,616 families in Pampanga, or 99,700 individuals, were affected by flooding, comprised of 15,633 families in Macabebe, 14,983 in Masantol, according to the Provincial Disaster Risk Reduction and Management Office. Reports indicate that 19 barangays in Pampanga towns are flooded. These include the barangays in Masantol and 14 barangays in Macabebe. Negros. Egay affected 13,541 families, or 54,041 individuals, and damaged 668 houses in Negros Occidental, according to the Provincial Social Welfare and Development Office. 3 persons reportedly drowned on July 25 to 26, while a fisherman went missing within Cadiz city waters. Initial damage to livestock was at 104,450. Bulacan Dams. Angat Dam, Ipo Dam, and Bustos Dam in Bulacan release water after water elevations increased by 183.48 meters, 101.37 meters, and 17.44 meters respectively on Thursday afternoon. The spilling level of Angat Dam is 210 meters, Ipo Dam at 101 meters, and Bustos Dam at 17 meters. Residents living the Angat River system, particularly in the towns of Norsagaray, Angat, San Rafael, Bustos, Baliwag, Pulilan, Plaridel, Kalumpit, Paumbong, and Hagonoy are advised to be on alert for the river water's elevation. Bustos Dam, after Water Control and Coordinating Unit Chief Francisco Clara told the Star. The provincial government of Bulacan has suspended work in government office. Additional reports from Rick Sapno, Rudy Santos, June Elias, Artemio Dumalo, Gilbert Bayoran, Michael Punong Bayan, Ramon Efren Lazaro, and Gio Ong. The next top story is brought to you by The Shed Cafe. Please scan the QR code to see their offerings on Facebook. Next on our top story, UNESCO wants global ban on cell phones in schools. Report by PLE Brago to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. A new United Nations report raised concerns about the excessive use of smartphones and the overuse impacts on learning, calling for the gadgets to be banned in schools worldwide. The United Nations Educational, Scientific, and Cultural Organization, or UNESCO, Global Report on Technology in Education highlights the lack of appropriate governance and regulation, titled Technology and Education, a tool on whose terms. The 2023 Global Education Monitoring Report calls for appropriate use of technology in education and emphasizes the need for a human-centered vision where digital technology serves as a tool rather than taking precedence. According to the report, digital technology has changed but not transformed education. UNESCO's Director of Global Education Monitoring, Manos Antoninis, warned of the danger of data leaks in educational tech, as only 16% of countries guarantee data privacy in the classroom by law. We know that vast amounts of data are being used without the appropriate regulation. So this data ends up being used for other non-educational purposes, commercial purposes, and that's of course a violation of rights that needs to be regulated, Antonini said. The UNESCO report also highlights the disparities created by digital learning. During the COVID-19 pandemic, half a billion students worldwide were left out due to the shift in only online only learning, with an imbalance in online resources favoring Europe and North America. UNESCO is urging countries to set their own standards for the way technology is designed and used in education, such that it never replaces in person, teacher led instruction and supports the shared objective of quality education for all. The digital revolution holds immeasurable potential, but as warnings have been voiced for how it should be regulated in society, similar attention must be paid to the way it is used in education, warned UNESCO Director General Audrey Azoulay. In contrast to digital technology's potential to improve education, there are also risks of information and communication technologies in education, which are often ignored by research and evaluations. The report said several countries are banning the use of mobile telephones or other technology in schools. Globally, less than a quarter of countries have laws or policies banning the use of telephones in school. Some ban the use of specific applications because of privacy concerns. Technology, the report said, has fundamentally changed the way in which children exercise and realize their rights, including their rights to both education and privacy. While under certain conditions, the use of technology in education can enhance children's opportunity to learn, it can also put their physical and mental integrity, privacy, and dignity at risk, it said. UNESCO said policymakers should listen to the voices of children so that their rights are protected and safeguarded during their online activities. The next top story is brought to you by Hayden Vietnam. Please scan the QR code to see their offerings. You are a truth teller. Report by Andrea Panaligan to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. Young Star, the Philippine Star's youth section, bears witness to a lot of frustration. Young people today grieve for the formative years lost to the pandemic, equate their worth to their labor, and feel they're too small to make a dent in decades of unchanging history. This frustration is not unwarranted. How would you feel if your world is crumbling and you're too powerless to do anything about it? This question has always been at the core of the Truth Tellers, the paper's two-part anniversary issue this July, led by a young star. When we think of truth, we think of fake news, deep fake, and social media filters. We think of growing up in a world where we can always fall victim to manipulated media. We think of liars easily rising to power. We think of our anger, massive, seething, unable to change a thing. But dig deeper, and you see that this anger is ultimately fueled by care and love for nation. We're angry because we don't want our communities to be misinformed, deceived, and taken advantage of. In this issue, we continue to highlight the stories of truth tellers working to build a more just Philippines. History teachers take on the gargantuan task of teaching our students how to uphold truth. An advocate battles the stigma around mental health and makes services more acceptable across the country. A community doctor earns back the people's trust in vaccines. A filmmaker tells the stories of queer people in a world that renders them invisible. We debunk the long-standing belief that there is nothing we can do. The people who lend their voices to this issue, publishers, musicians, activists, actresses, teachers, dancers, advertisers, and more, are all standing for truth. They all believe truth is still worth fighting for. With the diversity in our roster, we prove that anyone can be a truth teller. It's true that we can't even begin to imagine the scale of what we're up against, but we also don't know the magnitude of our power if we came together and chose to keep resisting. Still, if there's a singular message that reverberates throughout all the stories in this issue, it's that kaya natin yan. The fact that you're reading this right now is already a big step. You are a truth teller, keep seeking and living truth. This is only the beginning. This is from the anniversary series of the Philippine Star, their 37th year anniversary. Happy anniversary to the Philippine Star. Moving on to our global news update. Good morning, PWD President ng Maligaya, Ramon Berenguer. Thanks for joining me this morning. Taiwan defends largest airport against simulated Chinese attack. Report by Amber Wan to Agence France Press. Taoyuan, Taiwan. Taiwan staged its first ever military drill at Taoyuan International Airport on Wednesday, briefly halting commercial traffic as soldiers practiced defending the facility against a simulated attack by Beijing. The exercise is part of Taiwan's week-long massive war games, the annual Han Kuang, Han Glory drills, which this year has included protecting civilian airports as Beijing ramps up military and political pressures on the island. This is the first such drill at Taiwan's biggest airport near the capital since it opened in 1979. Analysts said Taiwan is drawing experiences from Moscow's invasion of Ukraine, which last year fended off a seizure of Russian paratroopers at an airport just outside Kiev. Seeing the experience of the Russian-Ukrainian war, the Battle of Antonov Airport, is a successful counter-offensive of the Ukrainian forces in the defense of Kiev, said Su Chu-yun, a military expert at Taiwan's Institute for National Defense and Security Research. He added that Taoyuan Airport's proximity to a red beach, using a term for potential landing point for amphibious assaults, makes it especially important to protect it. If it were to be seized by China, Chinese paratroopers would join the attack against our troops guarding the beach, Su told AFP. Alexander Huang, a military expert at Taipei's Tamkang University, said the seizure of an adversary's airport is key to sending in large numbers of assault forces via air transport in an invasion operation. He added that there was an extra incentive for the Taoyuan drill, besides familiarizing Taiwan's troops with emergency scenarios. This drill can also signal to potential enemies that we are getting ourselves prepared for such contingency, Huang told AFP. As an air traffic was halted, as air traffic was halted for about 30 minutes, dozens of soldiers fought off enemies landing on the airport's tarmac from attack helicopters. Airport police and firefighters also joined the operation, which the government said is aimed at combining civilian and military forces to protect critical infrastructure. At the end of it, a soldier climbed up a ramp and waved Taiwan's national flag, signaling victory as bodies were littered nearby. China, which regards Taiwan as its territory, has upped the pressure in recent years, with near daily warplane incursions and Chinese vessels deployed around the island's waters. The Chinese military has also held two massive drills in waters around Taiwan in the past year, simulating targeted airstrikes and a blockade of the island. Whole society defense. Taiwan holds frequent military drills, but has in recent months increased the civilian component. This week, local governments are conducting air raid drills in different cities. Troops also conducted an exercise in Taipei's main train station, a key infrastructure point in the capital, while another drill was held at an oil refinery in Taoyuan. We need to start from the concept of a whole society defense to integrate and utilize the resources of the military, central government, local governments, and civilian sectors, and to coordinate all units to work together, said Taiwanese President Tsai Ing-wen during a visit to the oil refinery where she watched soldiers fend off attack agents that parachuted out of helicopters. The protection of the oil refinery was incorporated into this Han-Guang exercise to simulate possible attacks or disasters to establish comprehensive contingency measures and effectively protect our critical infrastructure, Chai said. An airport drill was initially scheduled in Taiwan's southeast Taitung Tuesday, but it was cancelled due to Typhoon Doksuri. The typhoon, which killed at least one person in northern Philippines, is currently expected to bypass the island as it moves north to mainland China. Moving on to our regional stories. Time check is 6:11. 23 dead, 6 missing as boat capsizes in Laguna Lake. Rescuers. Report by Agence France Press to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. A small boat capsized in a lake near the Philippine capital on Thursday, killing 23 people on board and leaving 6 others missing, rescuers said. The accident occurred in early morning at Laguna Lake, 37 or 23 miles southeast of Manila, hours after Typhoon Egay, international name Duxbury, had swept out of the northern Philippines. Coast Guard spokesman Rear Admiral Armando Balillo said, "What happened was they panicked after a sudden gust of wind. They ran to the left side of the boat and the boat capsized," Balillo told Teleradio TV in an interview. The small passenger boat was making its regular run from the town of Binangonan to the island of Talim in the middle of the lake. Kenneth Cerados, a rescue official in the municipality, told AFP. Rescuers retrieved 23 bodies from the water, and there were 40 survivors, he added. Hours after the accident, rescuers were still scouring the lake for the 6 people still missing, Cerados said. The Philippines, an archipelago of more than 7,000 islands, has a poor maritime safety record, with scores dying in mishaps at sea each year, usually aboard wooden-hulled outriggers used for fishing or to move people from one small island to another. And our next regional top story, AFP, Sulu now Abu Sayyaf free. Report by Ruel Pareño to the Philippine Star. Zamboanga City, Philippines. After more than 2 decades, Sulu has been cleared of Abu Sayyaf bandits, according to the military. The Municipal Task Force to End Local Armed Conflict declared the Omar town Abu Sayyaf free last week. Colonel Alaric de los Santos, 11th Alacdan Division Civil Military Chief, said. The declaration followed the surrender of the followers of slain Abu Sayyaf leader Al-Habsi Misaya, who was tagged in cross-border kidnappings. The surrenderies turned over their guns and pledged commitment to the government during a ceremony led at the town's gymnasium in Barangay Lahing-Lahing. De Los Santos said the towns of Maymug, Indanan, Talipao, and Patikul had earlier been declared Abu Sayyaf free. Sulu is technically cleared of Abu Sayyaf bandits. To make it official, all municipalities which were previously considered as affected and influenced each have to make their official declaration, De Los Santos said. The military said the surrender of the 21 followers of Radulan Sahiron in June signaled the fall of the terror group. De Los Santos said the military is still trying to confirm reports that Sahiron had died of lingering illness. 7 other Abu Sayyaf bandits, including suicide bomber Mudsimar Mundi Sawadisan, are in the military's order of battle. We can declare total victory against the Abu Sayyaf in Sulu once we have neutralized Mundi Sawadijan, De Los Santos said. Sawadian was last monitored in Basilan after escaping from Sulu. We are optimistic that ground troops will be able to get him because he is on unfamiliar ground, De Los Santos said. Finally, in our regional update, 2 cops slain in Davao hacking shooting incident. Report by Eddie Regalado to the Philippine Star. Davao City, Philippines. 2 policemen were hacked to death and 3 others were wounded in a shooting in Barangay Lacson, Kalinan District in this city on Wednesday night. Corporal Mark Anthony Corsino and Senior Master Sergeant Tito Lage died at the scene. Corporals Ken Lau Gumanoy and Donald Ombrete were wounded and remained in critical condition in a hospital. One of the suspects, Benao Landad, 29, of the Matigsalog tribe, was killed while his companion, Rico Makakay, was arrested. The suspects, who were tribal members and identified themselves as Pulahan and alleged Agimat builders, attacked our troops. Our troops ran out of bullets. That's why the suspects were able to get to them. Kalinan Police Station Commander Major Ricky Obienza said, the incident was initially thought to be a pangayaw or reef among members of the indigenous people's community. The suspects reportedly attacked and harassed other members of the tribe, including a pregnant woman, prompting villagers to seek police assistance. With additional reports from Dayan Lead Suelto, and Mark Ernest Villesa. Finally, moving on to sports. Blue Girls fall short versus Italians. Report by Joey Villar to the Philippine Star. Manila, Philippines. It was good while it lasted. But when it all ended, the Philippine Blue Girls made sure everybody remembered. The Filipino Clouters did just that Wednesday as they showed incredible resilience against the highly favored Italians before eventually falling short in a 6-5 defeat that concluded their WBSC Women's Softball World Cup campaign in Castions d'Estrada, Italy. The heartbreaking defeat denied the Blue Girls a chance to fight one more time for that one last ticket to the 18 World Cup finals the Italians would again host next year. Instead, the Japanese and the Canadians booked the Group C berths, with the Italians assured of SNAP being the host. While this may not be the outcome that we are hoping for, I am still immensely proud of the Blue Girls. They never flinched despite being grouped together with higher ranking teams like Japan, Canada, Italy, and Venezuela, said Amateur Softball Association of the Philippines President Jean Henry Luelier. I believe that our girls will bounce back from this and come back stronger than ever at the next World Cup. Good morning, admin. And that concludes our stories for today, July 28, 2023, Friday. And here again is a summary of our top stories for today. Egay exits leaves trail of death, destruction. UNESCO wants global ban on cell phones in schools. You are a truth teller. A 37th anniversary post of Philippine Star. Taiwan defends largest airport against simulated Chinese attack. 23 dead, 6 missing as boat capsizes in Laguna Lake. Rescuers. AFP, Salunao Abu Sayyaf free. 2 cops slain in Davao hacking shooting incident. And finally, in sports, Blue Girls fall short versus Italians. Bago po natin tapusin ang ating news reading ngayong araw na to, iimbitahin ko po muna kayo na manood sa ating first invitational magkasangga para sa ITA Play for a Cause. Ito po ay gaganapin bukas, July 29, Saturday, sa Smash Point Sports Center sa Sunrise Subdivision, Barangay Maliwalo, Tarlac City. Marami pong mga badminton players sa Tarlac ang nagpatala. Meron din po tayong mga manlalaro na manggagaling sa iba't ibang lugar, iba't ibang bayan, iba't ibang lalawigan. At mga manlalaro ng Manila, darating din po. Sana po ay masaksihan ninyo, makisali po kayo, manood po kayo. At meron po tayong mga vendors na magtitinda ng mga specialties ng Tarlac sa venue. Kaya pwede po kayong bumili doon. So lahat po nito, yung mga magiging proceeds po nito ay pupunta sa mga proyekto na sinasagawa ng UCCP Socorro. UCCP Sitio Socorro ng Barangay Moriones, San Jose. Kasama na po dito yung First Aid Station / Nutrition Center. Yung pong regular na feeding program na ginagawa nila. Good morning, Sir Eden Manuntag. Thanks for joining. So yun po yung mga pagpupuntahan po ng pondo at magkakaroon din po ng kaunting presentasyon yung mga kabataan po ng Sitio Socorro bukas sa badminton court ng Smash Point Sports Center. Napakagandang napakagandang venue para doon sa mga serious players ng badminton dahil meron po silang magandang flooring, no? Talagang hindi po madulas na pwede pong yung makapit po talaga yung sapatos nyo, hindi kayo ma-aksidente, hindi kayo mag-slide. So, sana po makapanood po kayo, samahan niyo po kami bukas sa ating first ever na magkasangga para sa AITA na invitational badminton tournament. Magkita-kita po tayo bukas. At dyan po nagtatapos yung ating programang MSB Kape at Balita sa Umaga. Bukas po ang ating magkasangga sa buhay mangyayari mismo sa venue ng tournament. Kaya meron po tayong live coverage ng bukas ng event. Sana po masamahan niyo uli kami bukas. Alas 7 po ng umaga hanggang alas 9 ng umaga. Maraming salamat po uli sa lahat ng mga sumali sa TikTok Live, sa Instagram Live, sa ating Facebook Live. At yung pong mga may YouTube dyan, please subscribe to my channel also in YouTube para matulungan po na ipalaganap pa yung mga magagandang impormasyon at balita sa iba't ibang media platforms. Maraming salamat po ulit at God bless everyone.